The Supreme Court will tomorrow pronounce its verdict in the much-awaited AGR telecom dues case, a judgment eagerly awaited by the telecom and the banking sector. The court will decide the timeline for payment of AGR dues by telecom companies and recovery of AGR dues worth over 40,000 crore rupees from bankrupt telecom companies. In course of hearing, Bharti, Airtel and Vodafone Idea had sought a 15 or a 20-year timeline to make AGR payments, to which the court had disagreed. The court wanted a shorter timeline of payment and also wanted to secure payment. However, the top court and DoT had objected to the demand made by telecom companies to use allocated spectrum as a security to ensure that payment is made by telecom companies. The court will also decide the legal questions on saleability of spectrum under IBC and whether right to use spectrum can be sold by private companies. The apex court will decide whether Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel can be made liable to pay past dues of RCom, Videocon and Aircel due to spectrum sharing and trading agreements, making it clear that spectrum allocated to telecom companies may be cancelled if they refuse to pay AGR dues. The top court ruled that DoT had not yet raised AGR demands on the spectrum allocated to bankrupt telecom companies. Pointing to spectrum trading guidelines, the apex court observed that AGR dues cannot be wiped out and they need to be cleared by a telecom company before selling the spectrum allocated to it. In case the telecom company selling its allocated spectrum does not pay the pending dues, trading guidelines will transfer the liability on the telecom company which is buying the spectrum. However, lending banks had opposed any intervention by the top court in resolution plans of bankrupt telecom companies, referring to tripartite agreements which also involved DoT and telecom companies. Banks had argued that they were allowed to keep spectrum as security to lend money to telecom companies. Banks had stated that if they are not allowed to exercise their commercial wisdom in execution of resolution plans of bankrupt telecom companies, they will not be able to lend to the telecom sector in future, which will harm the economy in the long run. Also, various telecom companies had sought a longer payment timeline, claiming that they were already under financial distress and many companies may fold up if at all they are asked to pay upfront. However, the top court had asked them to submit details of their financial transactions and their financial standing to ascertain whether they are lying before the court or not. It remains to be seen whether the court verdict would act as a new lease of life for various telecom companies, or will it force many telecom companies to go into bankruptcy.